I thought finding him would fix everything, but the way he looked at me was worse than I hated. I'm standing in a parking lot 6 months after my husband vanished. No goodbye, no explanation, just an empty house and silence that he followed me everywhere. I spent months chasing answers, calling, searching, humiliating myself, until I finally hired someone to find him. I thought seeing him again would bring closure, anger, something. But when Marcus stepped out of that car, he didn't look surprised. He wasn't look hurt. He looked finished. And in that moment, I realized this wasn't a story about cheating or revenge. It was about what happens when someone decides you're no longer worth fighting for and walks away without ever looking back. 6 months. For 6 months, I've been looking at my phone, texting, deleting, and never sending. That's how it is. I still have the receipts in my pocket for the money I spent trying to find Marcus, the detective bill, the cash withdrawals, the dashed hopes. But the worst part isn't spending the money. The worst part is what he said. My name's Natasha. And it's embarrassing to say, but let's just admit it, more than the humiliation, the maddening silence, the dreadful disguise of completely disappearing. It was the look in the detective's eyes that devastated me. It didn't require any effort to start. There were no warning signs. It was a Friday evening and I was preparing dinner. Marcus was working on his computer, his usual routine, a good night, a good day, a normal life. When I took the pot off the heat and stepped out of the kitchen for a minute, I had left his laptop open in the living room. You know that, right? If you have a partner, an open laptop means trust. When I came back, Marcus was sitting there, his face changed. Then I understood. His phone screen was on, and I had messaged someone about him. Someone. All the messages were there. Months and months of messages. Romantic messages. Messages written with warmth. Clear and straightforward messages that didn't bother with lies. His name was David. He was my friend of 5 years, not my cousin. But even the tone of his messages conveyed a sense of closeness. We'd talk about work projects late at night. In the mornings he'd text, "I miss you." On weekends he'd make offers to me. And the fool, was the one who kept replying all this time. Marcus's face was always dynamic. He had never been able to hide his emotions. But this moment, this hour, this minute, his face was more frozen than the church. Empty, cold, frighteningly empty. "What are you doing?" she said. Her voice sounded planned, controlled, frighteningly controlled. "Marcus, this." I tried to begin. "Be quiet," he simply said, and as he said it, he walked away. He walked to the bedroom, opened the closets. He pulled out a suitcase. There's suitcases like that, aren't there? Suitcases that can change your life? "Marcus, please talk to me." But he kept walking, meticulously, carefully folding the clothes. T-shirts, work pants, socks, no emotion. There was planning in this, preparation. He'd chosen things he wouldn't buy that day. Because, what's the symbol of a loving relationship? Shared photos, shared gifts, memories. He didn't buy any of them. "Give me a minute," I said, trying to grab her arm. "I made a mistake, yes, but we can talk about it." Talking saves lives, doesn't it? He looked at me with unfamiliar eyes, like he was looking at a stranger at the door, even a bad one. A bad stranger. "Talk?" he said. "What are we going to talk about, Natasha? How many months has it been? 4? 5? How many months have you been cheating on me?" "No, I tried to lie." "No?" She picked up her phone. The messages. They were all there. "What's this good night, thinking of you message? What's this, can we be alone?" Message. 1, 2, 3, 10, 20 messages. When David called me, when I felt lonely, when I was feeling a little stuck, I said I talked to him. I told Marcus, but I didn't. I never told him, because having David meant, sometimes it's a sweet feeling, sometimes it's a devilish thrill. It meant him staying with me, Marcus and me, and all of us, but it never meant, David staying home with us. "I love you," I said. Stupid words, used words. A smile appears on Marcus's face. but it's not a smile. It's something that shows teeth but isn't happiness. Love isn't sleeping with another person, Natasha. Love isn't spreading lovey-dovey messages in the background. And at that moment, I know at that moment, everything was over. It was over because the brain had already made the choice. The heart had already moved. The feet were already ready to walk. He finished unpacking the suitcase. Zipper, door, closing. He pulled his phone out of his pocket. He opened a map, looking for accommodation. Even right now, while living like this, where are you going? I asked. Without you. After that, wait. Before leaving, he wrote a note. Of course, he wrote a note. The paper was white as straw, the handwriting black and sharp. I need time. How much? I don't know. But as much as I can. I loved you. It's in the past. Forget it. Forget it. 6 years, the welcome lunch, the New Year's plans, the blindfolded dreams. Forget it. I investigated for a week. Yes, I started the investigation. The detective hire was a long time ago. His messages, his social media, his old friends, but all doors were closed. His phone number had changed. Even David wasn't answering. His employees at work gave excuses. My friends told me he'll come back. Men come back. But Marcus was different. Marcus made plans, quiet but precise plans. In the second week, I started being rude. I posted on social media. It was vague, but initially it was a post written to get attention. Something like, you learn from mistakes. You learn to forgive. You learn to forget. But to forgive me, you have to find me. I mean, did you meet me or not? Something like that. It didn't work. There were comments, accusations, male disappointment. Some people wrote to me saying I had hacks. In the third week, I hired a detective. It's bad to say this, but I loved Marcus and I wanted him back. And I wanted to understand why. The detective's name was Hayes Tobacco. Coffee and closed doors, he said. He wore glasses. His words were straightforward. Playing games wasn't an art. Where can I find him? I asked. It might take weeks to find it, he said. How many weeks? 2, 3, even 4 weeks. He hid well. Through an old friend, he tells whether he lives in the relative's mind or not. The school is not contemporary, but Hayes, having done his preparation, was skilled at tracking me down. Credit card transactions, phone records, location from security cameras, internet provider. A week later, he called me. I found him, he said. My heart stopped. It was as if the word I found, it gave me everything I wanted. Where? I asked. Portland, in an apartment building. Apartment number 412. He lives with a woman. And at that moment, right at that moment, the detective looked at me and said, Natasha, I want to ask you something. You want to find him? Yes. But when you find him, what will you do with it? What will it change? Will it be out of the desire for him to forgive you? Or to make amends? Or just to know? And that question, that single question, that interrogation, it changed my life. Because there was a contract. I have to give an answer. I have to look inside myself. And when I looked inside myself, I wanted Marcus to come home. But I don't know why. The air stood still. Hours, seconds, a silent sound. There were no sounds other than those of Hayes' pin. Get in touch with him, I said finally. To Portland. Suitcase, card, attack plan. Apartment 412. Sunday morning, 8 o'clock. I knew Marcus would go out. His habits never changed. He'd grab his coffee, his newspaper. When he stepped out the door, he looked like a man I didn't recognize. Thin, nervous, with something sensitive beneath his skin. Marcus, I said. His face, the face across from him, turned blue. Cold. Very cold. How did you find me? He asked. I hired a detective. From where? Because, for your sake. We need to talk. He smiled, a foolish, bitter smile. The talking time is over, he said. The talking time is over because we talked. We always talked, but talking wasn't enough. But Natasha, you chose David. You're chosen. It wasn't a mistake, it was a choice. Mistakes are forgiven. Choices are final. The woman sitting inside appears at the door. Beautiful, quiet, she played with Marcus's arm. "Is everything all right?" the woman asked. "Yes," said Marcus. "Old friend, he's leaving." And he left. Without noticing me, he walked away in the gray Portland morning, holding the hand of a woman I didn't know. I stood there, the empty apartment building, the empty facade, the empty emotions. Detective Hayes had told me that reaching the answer required change, but I wasn't going to change. Nothing was going to change. The process didn't progress at an unexpectedly rapid pace. On the contrary, it changed slowly but steadily. In the early days, no one thought there was a serious problem. Everything seemed controllable, but as time passed, small glitches began to increase. Initially, these glitches were ignored. Then they began to recur. The recurring situations attracted attention. As attention increased, questions multiplied. The questions did not find clear answers. An atmosphere of uncertainty was created. This atmosphere affected trust. As trust weakened, decisions were made more cautiously. Caution slowed progress, and the balance shifted unnoticed. When I returned home, it wasn't home. It had ceased to be home. The walls were the same. The furniture was the same, but Marcus's scent was gone. It was gone. Vanished. Gone. Just like him. He had transformed the place where we had lived for 6 months into a foreign place. My home, my house, but I was a stranger in it. On the first day, I think I was on the verge of going crazy. I dove into social media on my phone. I found Marcus, a new account, 4 posts, all with that woman in Portland, Strand Beach, the library, a restaurant. He was smiling. He was really smiling. 3 weeks after he left me, he was already living with someone else, with an unprecedented speed. That woman, her name was Barry. She had golden hair, green eyes, and she didn't even look at me when she sat next to Marcus in Portland. But on social media, it was as if she was telling me to erase her presence, me, from that photo with every post. My therapist, Dr. Chan's office, and told him, after he cut me off, he immediately started with someone else. As if nothing had happened. As if 5 years meant nothing. Dr. Chun jotted down a note without looking up. "While Natasha is worried about what Marcus is doing, are you looking at your own choices?" "My choices?" I asked angrily. "My choice was to love David, yes, but Marcus's choice was to leave me. I didn't want to leave him, but did I want to love David?" said Dr. Chun. Or did he want this excitement? Did he want forbidden, secret, long messages? I couldn't answer that. In the 4th week, my social media obsession reached its peak. I created fake accounts. I checked Barry's follower list. I liked Marcus's posts, then Marcus blocked me. Within a minute, but then at some point I saw them messaging each other. Barry tagged Marcus in a photo of a Sunday breakfast on social media. She wrote in the caption, "I found this guy. I found the person I was looking for. The person she's looking for. The person she's been searching for." I drank alcohol that night. I drank a lot. And I wrote a message with a faint red light. "Marcus, I found you too. I saw your photos, but I know you, really. And I know that she won't be at peace with you, because I know you. Instead of knowing me, come back to choose me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." The message was sent. An hour passed. A date passed. No reply. In the 5th week, I started trying to contact Marcus's family. His mother answered the phone. "Natasha?" he said, his voice surprised. "We need to talk, but right now, Marcus, She paused. "He said it's over. It's a long time ago, but I'm sorry." I almost cried. I made a mistake. Just a mistake. "Natasha," said Marcus's mother, her voice harsher than usual. "My son loved you for years. He loved you very much. But a relationship is built on trust, and you broke that trust. Not just once. There were messages. There were months. There were conscious choices. He understood that and he left. He didn't want to make you feel like you didn't have to keep your promise to him, that you didn't have to be in charge." He hung up the phone. Week 6, social media censorship began. Marcus Berry removed the tag from all her photos. Then she made her accounts private. She opened new accounts and deleted the old one, just like she disappeared, then disappeared again, this time consciously. Berry has stopped being on social media, but Marcus is gone. Marcus is no longer here. In the 7th week, I saw David at work. Seeing him there, I realized how foolish I felt. David was a businessman, attractive, but he had no effect on me. No excitement. He was just a person, a mass in my life, a weight, an air. Natasha, he said, I'm sorry, it got very complicated, and can you go? I asked. Please, just go. He left. He never came back. I heard it went to someone else, the processor. Nice and completely unrelated to me. In the 8th week, I started deleting social media. I closed my account. I couldn't delete the photos, I just hid them. And it deleted me, all my traces, all the evidence, all the memories. Dr. Chun's office and explained, the worst part isn't that Marcus was being right. The worst part is that he was so right. He left because staying meant staying in an unstable relationship. And he didn't value that. But you found him, said Dr. Chun after he left. I found him and he still chose to leave. What does that tell you? He tells me I'm too late. Yes, said Dr. Chun. And now what will you do? In the 9th week, I called Detective Hayes. I need an additional report, I said. What kind of report?
He asked.
It's about Marcus. The course of his relationship with Barry. Is he happy?
Should he stay?
All of that. Hayes paused. Natasha, I don't want to say this, but it is better not to. He's gone. He chose to end the relationship with you. If he wants to get back together with you, you're the one he'll find. But following him, stalking him, that would only prolong the pain. But there's nothing, Hayes said. My sister, I was betrayed too. I found the man she loved with someone else. And you know what? Chasing after him just ruined me. I'm telling you, let him go. She hung up the phone. 10 weeks later, the detective's report arrived though. But I didn't open it. It sat on the table, its capacity like something that needed to be burned. The week after, treatment began. Real treatment. Not silly social media therapy, real therapy. I went to Dr. Chun and said, yes, I accept it. Marcus is gone. Gone permanently. He chose to go, and, I have to respect that choice. So what happened to David? Asked Dr. Chun. David left, Marcus abandoned me, and I was left alone. I was all alone, and you know what? That's what I deserve. Dr. Chun nodded. That's the first step, Natasha. Taking responsibility. But you know what? There's more. I found Marcus, but I couldn't save him. I tried to get him back, but I couldn't, because he wasn't lost to me. He was the result of my choice. In the 12th week, I did a social media check. I deleted my fake accounts from under the table. Fake, I turned off the emails, and I stopped looking for Marcus's accounts. No calls, no monitoring, no following up. But curiosity was there. Curiosity has always been there. In the 13th week, a waiter friend of mine, James, sat with me in a cafe. You're nowhere to be seen. Not for a long time, he said. On social media, in cafes, nowhere. I miss you too. I missed you too, I said. But I need to find myself. But you're not even there, Natasha, James said. You're after Marcus, but Marcus isn't worthy of being found. He's gone. Whether you stay or not, if you had to come, that would be your decision, okay? I started to cry. At this cafe, at these strangers. At James, I cried because I knew James was right. The election is in the past. The election results are here, and I am living within these results. In the 14th week, I cleaned out my house. I put Marcus's remaining belongings, his books, his games, even his socks into a box. I sent it to a donation dinner. The walls were bare. The room was empty. My heart was empty, but it was better, a little better than being clean. In the 15th week, I finished paying Detective Hayes. I cleaned the tables, and I wrote a note about that report I hadn't yet opened. It's not a letter to Marcus, but if you see him, tell him. Natasha apologized. Just apologize. Nothing else. Just let him know. And then forget about it. Please forget about it. In the 16th week, I had Detective Hayes look for it. That letter? I asked. I found the address, said Hayes. P.O. Box. Shall I send it?
I stopped.
1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Then, no, I said. Don't send it. No, just delete it. Delete it? Yes, delete it. That letter was never written. That message was never sent. Marcus shouldn't know anything about this. Nothing is necessary. Hayes stood silently. Is this the right decision? I don't know, I said, but this is my decision. It was the 17th week and I was working. I was working and having coffee with my friends and laughing. Real laughter, not a silly laugh. In the 18th week, a man introduced me to him at the study. His name was Robert. He wasn't human, just human. He spoke to me, and I listened. No magic, no excitement, no taboos, just talk. But a so-called talk, a real talk. In the 19th week, I heard news about Marcus. He moved away from Portland to another city. He broke up with Barry. That's it, that's all. But when I heard it, I felt no excitement, no hope, just a little sadness, just a little. In the 20th week, social media unblocked Marcus's old account. He reopened it. There's a photo of himself, young Marcus who had no one else. The caption reads, "Sometimes going back doesn't mean choosing. Sometimes going back means letting go. Accepting. My choices own me. The consequences of my choices own me, and I'm living with them. No comments. Few likes. Just a photo and a quote." For 21 weeks I thought about it. Every day. I was working, having coffee with Robert, visiting Dr. Chun, and I thought about Marcus's choice. My choice, the consequences of all the choices. It was the 22nd week, a month after graduation, after the summer. There was a place I was looking for before I left. A library, a museum, another library, but not Portland. Somewhere else? In the 23rd week, Robert asked me, "Do you love me?" "I don't know," I said, "but maybe I can be loved." "Is this enough?" "Perhaps," I said. "This is enough for now." In the 24th week, I sat at home and thought about those 6 months, all the stages, finding, dreaming, getting lost, the pain, the acceptance. And I know now, right now, I didn't find Marcus. I found myself, and that's far more important. On the last day, the 18th week, I closed Detective Hayes' office. "Thank you," I said, "for everything." "No problem," said Hayes. "Can I say something?"
Yes.
"Natasha, like most clients, you came to me to find someone. But really, you found yourself. That's better." I smiled, a genuine smile. Initially, everyone thought they clearly saw their role. However, expectations shifted in different directions over time. This shift wasn't explicitly expressed. Because it wasn't expressed, it wasn't understood. The points of misunderstanding multiplied. Each new day added a small inconsistency. These inconsistencies weren't significant on their own, but when combined, they changed the picture. Communication became increasingly cautious. As caution increased, spontaneity decreased. When spontaneity decreased, sincerity was also affected. When sincerity decreased, distance formed. This distance wasn't visible to the eye, but it was felt, and it determined the direction of the process. 25 weeks later, I thought a lot. I talked a lot. I cried a lot. But most of the time it was silence. Because Marcus's silence had taught me that words aren't always important. Sometimes there's the power of absence. Sometimes the power of emptiness. Sometimes the power of saying nothing at all. Robert started living with me. It felt strange at first, because Marcus's scent was completely gone. There was someone else's scent now. A new, different scent, but not one I disliked, even if it didn't harm me. Robert had his own scent. Robert was his own person. And perhaps that would be enough. Perhaps this was the beginning. Dr. Chan's office during my last session, I sat down and said, "Thank you for not being able to find Marcus." Dr. Chun looked up. "I found it," he said. Yes, I said. But it wasn't important that he found me. It was important that I found him myself. Do you understand then? Yes, I said. I understand. Elections are terminated. Mistakes can be forgiven, but the election is permanent. Dr. Chones smiled. And now what will you do? I will live, I said. I will just live. 28 weeks. I've seen her new account on social media with another man in another city. A new life where Marcus left no trace. But this time, when I saw these photos, there was no pain. Just an understanding of how conscious Marcus had become, how acutely he had gone. He was gone, truly gone, and that was good for my pain. In 30 weeks, here we were, Robert and I announced there was no drama, no viral marketing. There was no story, just a man, a woman, and the decision to tolerate. I liked that. I liked the ordinariness. I liked the comfort of being insignificant. 32 weeks later, an email arrived from Detective Hayes. The subject line, something you need to know. I opened it. Inside was a photograph, an old photograph of me and Marcus from 5 years ago, when we were happy, really happy. Then a note. Natasha, I found this photo in Marcus's office. No, he gave it to me to find. Someone gave it to me. Marcus wanted me to send it to him after he found out you found it. They said show it to him. He wants to remember him fondly, that's all. I cried, but this time I cried differently. I cried as someone who was forgiven or someone who knew someone who was forgiven. In 35 weeks, Marcus's I saw LinkedIn. New job, another city, another life. No photos, just a profile. But the caption, life is about choices, not words. 38 weeks later, Robert proposed to me. A ring in a box, nothing spectacular, just a ring. And I said no, because I still didn't know. Why? Robert asked, looking heartbroken. Because I'm not sure, I said. And this time I want to be sure. I think so. Robert smiled. I know, he said. But I can wait. You take it to find out. In 40 weeks, a group of friends appeared on social media. The social media post read, Marcus's mother hears about Marcus's marriage with a new woman in another city, a quiet ceremony. I wasn't there and nobody knew. I wasn't expecting it, but there were photos. Marcus was laughing. He was really laughing. When I saw this, there was no jealousy, just a kind of peace, joy that she could live a life. I couldn't, because she had learned to live through that experience, through pain and distance. At 42 weeks, I sent the last payment to close Detective Hayes' case. I wrote a note, thank you, for everything, but no more calls. Hayes replied, I know, I could feel it. Long live Natasha. In 45 weeks, I said yes to Robert. I got the ring. We're going to get married maybe. Maybe not, but we'll try. And this effort, maybe that will be enough. At 48 weeks, I look at myself. I look in the mirror. New hair, new clothes, new eyes. Eyes that have lived, eyes that have made choices, eyes that accept the consequences of those choices. In 50 weeks, the detective received the first letter from the previous ones. A letter sent by Hayes, written by Marcus. He finally sent it. There was a note, I found you. I didn't want to be found, but you found me. This letter is from 6 months ago. I wanted to give it to you, but I wasn't ready. Now I am. The letter. Marcus's handwriting. Familiar handwriting. Natasha, if you're reading this, it means Hayes sent this, and I allowed it to be found. It took time to do that. If it needed time, you found me. In Portland with another woman, another life. And I know how you felt. You thought you'd come back. And I just thought about leaving. Just leaving. The things I told you were harsh and cold. But you know what? They had to be said. Because if they had been soft, you would have come back. And you shouldn't have come back. We shouldn't have come back.
We're over.
The elections are over. But I want to say something. You loved David, but you loved me too. Both at the same time. And that, I think, wasn't the worst lie. The worst lie wasn't the one where you could change your mind. Barry, yes, she turned her head. But with Barry, I learned that I was in her head, like she was in her head. And from being in her head, I came back. I made a choice, not the choice to come back, but the choice to leave. For myself. Just for myself. Now I'm getting married. To someone else. Another life. But I won't forget you. I won't forget your choice. I won't forget my choice. And maybe that's what it all matters. I found you, but when you made peace with yourself, so did I. I want him to know I forgive him, but I won't be with you. That choice is over. I want things to be good for you. Tell Robert he seems like a good guy. Tell him to look after him, and look after yourself too. Marcus, the letter 3 times, and I cried. But this time I cried differently. I cried because I was forgiven. I cried knowing that he finally understood his choices. Robert arrived. What's the problem? He asked. Nothing, I said. I just received a letter
From Marcus.
What did he say? Robert asked. He says peace, I said. He says peace for all of us. In 53 weeks, I burned letters. Yes, I burned them. Because what I needed wasn't words. Words were in the past. Here, now with Robert, with my choices. When I looked in the future, there were no words to say. In 56 weeks, the last report came from Detective Hayes' office, but I didn't open it. We put it in the desk drawer and closed it, because that report was irrelevant now. That report was the past, and I, at this moment, was concerned with the future. During the study, the manager told me, Natasha, I've noticed you. You seem like a different person, more peaceful. Yes, I said, because I am also a different person. I'm a person who has accepted the choice. In 59 weeks, Robert and I planned our wedding. A small ceremony, quiet friendship, no drama, just as I wanted it, just as I deserved it. In 60 weeks, I'd transformed my home. Clean, empty, new walls. No trace of Marcus, just me, Robert, and a new beginning. In 63 weeks, I saw Marcus on social media. His new profile picture. He looked happy, really happy, and I looked back and smiled because his happiness removed the need for me to apologize. At 66 weeks, I saw David at work. For the first time in years, he smiled at me at work. A simple smile. Then he left. We left too. David wasn't my cake, he was just a test person for me now. At 69 weeks, Robert asked me, do you regret it? Does he regret it? I asked, surprised. No, it's for all of this. For finding Marcus, for being crazy, for the things you did to keep me waiting until you met him. No, I said, I will never regret it. Because regret is about choice. But this isn't a choice. It's about accepting the choice. After 72 weeks, one last letter arrived from Detective Hayes. Natasha, Marcus's marriage. He's dating someone he likes. I also heard about your Robert. He's dating someone he likes. For 6 months, we were working to find you. But I also helped bring you together. Do you understand why? Because every time if a client hires me, I just know that person needs to find themselves. They don't deserve to find themselves. That person needs to find themselves. You've found yourself. That's good. Don't call Detective Hayes anymore. You're not doing the investigation anymore. You're living. Live well.
Hayes.
At 75 weeks, I decided to say it during the study. I want to be fired, I told the manager. Why? He asked, surprised. Because I don't want to be reminded of my mistakes here. I want to live somewhere else. I want to live somewhere else. The manager nodded. I understand. Have a good time, Natasha. In 78 weeks, we moved to another city. Robert and I, new job, new friends, new life. At 80 weeks, Robert and I got married. A small ceremony, no unhappy people, just the clock and life. At 83 weeks, our first daughter was born. We named her Isabella. I didn't use Marcus's name because this is a new person, a new life. But, sometimes when the baby laughs, I remember Marcus's laugh and I cry, but this time I cry happily. At 86 weeks, Marcus's son was born. I saw it on social media. They named him Benjamin. They looked happy. His family looked happy, and I looked happy too. Last week, 180 days later, Robert, Isabella, a new life. And Marcus, his wife, Benjamin, another new life. People often say, "You found me," but that doesn't change the choice. And they're right. Choices are permanent. Choices are immortal. But I often say, "You found Marcus." But not finding him was the best thing, because I found myself 6 months. 180 days. Another life for two people. One isn't living with the other. One is living with someone else. But maybe that's not entirely bad. Perhaps this is entirely true. Perhaps elections are not just elections. Perhaps elections are beginnings. And I, right now, am experiencing a new beginning. Anything said after this point would not lessen the weight of what happened, because some processes are remembered not by words, but by the traces they leave behind. What happened didn't begin suddenly, nor did it end suddenly. It took shape over time and gained meaning over time. The picture, which seemed complex at first glance, became clearer upon closer inspection. Every decision had a reason. Behind every silence lay a thought. Some questions remained unanswered. But that didn't mean they were worthless. Sometimes life doesn't offer clear outcomes, it only provides a stopping point. And this story stopped at exactly that point, without drawing a sharp line, without declaring anyone completely right or completely wrong. What remained was the awareness gained from what happened. It was understood how crucial seemingly small moments can be. It was seen how important trust, patience, and timing are. And perhaps most importantly, it was accepted that every process carries its own truth. Some stories don't end with a loud bang. They conclude quietly. But their impact lingers long afterward.